Treasure, welcome back to another gaming video. And in today's gaming video, we're gonna recap every game that I completed in January 2025. So yeah, I thought, you know what, let's every month recap which games I have, I have been playing, but also mostly which games I have finished actually in this month. So this month I have finished actually quite some games. So let's get through them. And I have here my beautiful phone with me, which tells me, of course, which games I finished. So I started this game. So the first game, which I completed in January, I started actually back in December, and that is called Deathmark. Deathmark is a visual novel or a horror visual novel, which has some kind of like fighting elements in it. You need to defeat, you know, like the spirits, the ghost in there. And it is a very dark but interesting visual novel. The visual novel took me about 26 hours to complete fully. Yes, I didn't play it that fast. According to HowLongToBeat, it's around a 20-hour visual novel. In this visual novel, there are choices that you can make. You can die, of course, also. And you can get various endings also in this one. And this visual novel really works with chapters and, you know, like it continues the storyline. You start off as a character who doesn't know its own name and wakes up with a mark. And that mark signifies that very soon your life will end. This mark you get from a vengeful ghost. And yeah, with that character who the name is unknown at the beginning of this series, you meet various other mark bearers, how they're called. And with those mark bearers, you find the vengeful spirits who have put those accursed marks on the people. And you need to defeat them by using items that you acquire during your search in the various areas. And by using these items and by using the information you gather in the various locations, you use those items to beat the vengeful spirits. Did I like this game? I had to use a guide, okay? Because I found later on, so the first few vengeful spirits were okay to do. However, when I went further in the game, especially when I was in the second time in the school building, because 2 times you go to the school building, it's the first spirit, but there is also another spirit there. So the second time you go to the school, it's that one. Starting from there, I really needed to use actually a guide because I could not for the life of me figure out certain things. And even when I was reading through the guide, I was like, yeah, I could never have figured this one out. So my recommendation is with this visual novel is to have a guide next to it. There is on Steam somebody who has made a very extensive guide. So I have used that guide, especially during the boss battles. Let's leave it at that, right? I'm calling them boss battles. During those boss battles, which items I should use, and also I used it to get, you know, like the good ending for every boss fight, because you can get the normal ending with a boss fight, or you can get, you know, like the good ending. So I opted every time to try and get the good ending, so to get all the items that I need to defeat that boss, and also the specific item to get, you know, like the good ending. I actually also have the successors to this game, which is NG. It's NG, and it's the Spirit Hunter line, is it? And also I have also Deathmark 2. After completing Deathmark 1, I was not in a hurry to start NG. And that mainly had to do with, like I said, when I was, you know, like midway through the game. The story itself, I actually liked the story. It kept me on my toes, and I didn't know about the plot twist. I had no feeling that that was going to be the plot twist. Only later on I was like, something's iffy, but maybe I didn't read very well, because some people said they knew the plot twist already way at the beginning. I did not know it. When that plot twist happened, I was like, really? Oh, I did not know that. So I like the plot twist. So that's why I rated this game a bit higher than most of the other people that I heard talking about this game. Because that plot twist really made me, you know, like interested to know more about it. But it didn't have me really grabbed enough that I was like, okay, let's go to the next game of this series. So yes, it is a very good series to play. It was a kind of bit on the long side. I like my VNs to be somewhere between 12 to 15 hours. So playing it for 26 hours, it was kind of on the long side. But I did enjoy it, and I'm very happy I had this game. And yes, I do want to play the other games, but I don't think I'm gonna play the other two games of which is NG and Deathmark 2. I don't think I am gonna play them this year. So do I recommend Deathmark if you like visual novels, if you like horror, and if you like a kind of a plot twist? Definitely get this one. If you're not into horror, if you're not into VNs, definitely don't get this game. Then also in January, I started the Ace Attorney trilogy, the first 3 games, which are only released in Japan, but they have English on the cartridge, which is of course Ace Attorney Justice for All, and Ace Attorney Trials and Tribulation. Okay, what can I say about Ace Attorney? So I played this game, so I completed it after almost 72 hours. Yes, this is a very long game. Actually, it's 3 games because it was 3 Nintendo Switch games and 1 very big DLC on this one card. So you had the first game, and the first game already was, before the DLC was added towards it, already had a gameplay of 25 hours. And then the final case, so the 6th case, which was on also the first game, which was a DLC, that game alone, or that case alone, already consisted out of almost 15 hours. So I don't know how much people had to pay at that time for that DLC, but it almost felt like a full new game. So yeah, so the first, you know, like Ace Attorney was a really, really long one, and I enjoyed every second of it. I am going to make a separate video rating all the cases of the Ace Attorney trilogy. And let me tell you, most of them are going to get such a high rate. It's going to be very difficult to actually say which is my favorite case of all those cases that are there in the Ace Attorney trilogy. And yes, you get a lot of questions in the first part and in the second game. All the questions are answered in the third game. There's no loose ends anymore. I love it. It's and that's the thing. So after I completed Ace Attorney, yes, I want to play part 4, 5, and 6. I have them here already. I might start playing them somewhere in March. So not, you know, like in the upcoming month, but maybe the month after that, because I do want to have these cases sink in a bit more before I start the new journey in the next Ace Attorney collection. So yeah, if you haven't played Ace Attorney, I definitely recommend it. It's amazing. It's so much fun. I love everything about it. I just can't. I'm so much in love with it that I'm returning to Japan soon. I'm gonna try and find, you know, like the Edgeworth and the Phoenix Wright figures for them, because I want to have, you know, like a small, I don't want to have per se a shrine, right? But I do want to have a small section in one of my cupboards where I have some figures or things from Ace Attorney. I love it. I studied law, so therefore maybe also I have some affinity with it. So yeah, Ace Attorney trilogy, 10 out of 10, recommended. Even if you're not in VNs, Really, even if you are not into VNs that much, it's still so worth it. Because it really is both, you know, like, it's solving a mystery. And who doesn't love solving a mystery? It's like Dora the Explorer, but then for adults. It's so much fun. And yeah, I can't say anything bad about Ace Attorney. Ace Attorney, so much fun. I didn't even notice how many hours I put in it, just because it was just a joy to play that game. Because Ace Attorney is such a big game. Well, it's actually 3 games in one cartridge, right? Almost my whole of January was filled with playing Ace Attorney. Of course, I also played Hatsune Miku Fitness Boxing every day for 30 minutes. Of course, not during the time that I was sick. But yeah, because that was such a huge part of what I was playing in January. I don't have a lot of other games that I was playing or completed. I did complete one other game, which was actually pretty recently released, which is called Amedama. And this is kind of a game. How do I say this? I really love this game, but I also don't like this game. So hear me out. What I like about this game is you play as a character that takes over other characters. I'm not gonna tell too much about the story because then it's gonna spoil too much. And there might be people who wanna, you know, like play this game and go blindly into it. But this game, you take over frogs, dogs, people, whomever, and you set out on your quest to save your sister. However, and here comes the kicker. So you have, it's kind of like Groundhog Day. If you've seen that movie, it means that you have 7 days to try and save your sister. So which means, you know, like 7 nights and 7 days to save her. However, you cannot save her in the first 7 days, right? So you learn by taking over various characters, by following various routes, by doing stuff different. Every time you re-go through the cycle, you follow a different path. And every time you get 1 step closer to saving your sister. However, I don't like Groundhog Day. So, okay, I love Hades, right? And I love Hades too. And of course you replay, you know, like the same levels over and over and over again, right? Those roguelike games. I like that concept because every time the story continues, right? It's not the same days that you are reliving. You're continuing in time. Whereas this, you do not continue in time. You play the same 7 days every iteration. So the first time you go for, you know, like you follow the basic route, right? And then you learn stuff. And then during those 7 days, you're like, okay, maybe I should have gone on that day. I should have done this differently, or I should have taken over this person, or I should have put this person there. So with that knowledge of those 7 days, you go back to start again. And then you relive those 7 days again, making different choices that you did in that first timeline. If you don't make different choices, you just follow the same timeline, right? Nothing changes. But every time you make a different choice, a split happens and you follow a different outcome. So there are various outcomes. I think I have all of them. I think I only have one, which is like a small split at the end that I did not get, but all the other ones, all the other routes I did go, because you need a lot of characters at the end to save your sister. Yes, so you have to, I think if you want to complete this game, you have to go through at least 7 loops before you, no, maybe 6. Maybe you can do it in 6. I had to go through 8 times. I had to go through that loop before I was able to save my sister. I did 2 additional times the loops just to get some deviations also, right? Because I wanted to see what happens if you do this and what happens if you do that. But they didn't really change anything particular. You just saw some different interactions. However, I think in 6-7 loops, you should be able to save your sister. So yes, I was able to save my sister in the end. I played this game so it took me around 17 hours, if I'm not mistaken. No, wait, almost 18 hours. So 17 hours and 65 minutes and 43 seconds to complete all the loops that I did. So all the 8 loops that I did, and 8 or 9, give or take, and get as many small side steps as possible. So I did play this game actually for quite some long, because if it says here on How Long to Beat, it says 8.5 hours. Yeah, so I played double the amount of time. Mainly because some things I had difficulty deciding, but what do they want me to do here? How do I get to that different route? So yeah, do I recommend Amadama? If I would have known this was a game which is like, like Groundhog Day, you relive the same days, I might not even have bought it. Now that I've played it, I like it, right? So the story is very nice in the end. It's very sad. It's very sweet. It's sad. It's sweet and sad. So I like that I actually played it. If I had known up front that I was gonna cycle through the same days over and over again, there's a lot of repetition in it, I would not have bought the game. I'll be honest, I would have not bought the game if I had known that. But then I would have missed out on actually a very fun game to play, just because I'm just very biased in loop games, because again, I want to advance in the story. And I felt that I was not, especially in the beginning, when I found out that I had to loop every time. That was the point where I was like, am I going to put this game away? Or am I going to continue? I'm happy I continued it. So yeah, it's not the best game. The graphics are nice. The story is good. It's just the loop. It's the loop that is keeping me from saying it's a 10 out of 10. That's the thing. I just don't like loops. And if it would only take you like 4 loops to get your sister, that would have been enough. 6 to 7 loops to get, to save your sister, that's too much. I'm sorry. They should have done, like 4 times the loop, and then you continue the story because you have, succeeded in getting out of the loop, and you continue. That would have made it a 10 out of 10. So Amadama completed that one completely, got everything that I wanted to see. Might maybe have missed, like I said, 1 or 2 things, but those were just so minor that I was like, nah, no, I'm done. It's enough. It's enough. And then actually yesterday I completed the Himitsu no Aipuri game, which basically means I have unlocked all the mini games, I've unlocked all the songs, have not unlocked all the puzzles and not all the stickers. But that's fine, right? I will play this game occasionally and I will get some coins, and then I can do the gachapon, and then I will get the puzzle pieces, and then those are also completed. But I have, unlocked all the mini games, and let me tell you, that's not easy because you have to be level 77 to 72 in order to unlock the final mini game. Yes, I am level 72 now, and therefore I have the final mini game. I also played the final mini game. It was a very fun mini game also. All the songs are unlocked somewhere around level 50. And yeah, Himitsu no Aipuri, I have one favorite song here, Stand Get Up. I love that song. It's my power song. And yeah, it's amazing. I love Himitsu no Aipuri. It's a very gorgeous game. Look, it also comes with this very beautiful card. I love everything about Himitsu no Aipuri. I am going to show you more about this game also in a separate video, because we're going to play all the mini games. But I'm happy that I have completed this one. It took me around 7 hours to get to level 72. So yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed playing this, and I'm so happy that I was able to just in January complete this game. 3 other games that I also am playing but have not completed, so they will be in the February one. I do have them listed here. So that is these 3 games. So this is live stream. This is the first part. This is the so you can think you can beat those games. And this is a mystery, a visual novel, which is called, and oh my gosh, it is the Hawk's Disappearance, Memory in Ice, Tearful Figurines. So this one I'm almost done. So, but yeah, these are games I'm currently playing, have not completed that yet, so I cannot give my final thought on these games. And yeah, that was basically every game that I completed in January and that I played in January. So yeah, I have a lot of gaming hours actually in this month, considering even I was sick for a whole week. And I'm very happy that yeah, I'm very happy that I just completed the Ace Attorney trilogy, because that was just so much fun. But yeah, that was it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, I say, miss you, love you, bye bye.